What's going on, guys, and welcome back. 365 subscribers to go until we hit our giveaway goal for set 9. We're giving a box of Fabled away to one lucky subscriber. The actual entry video will come later at that point because obviously we need to hit our goal to do it. But 6,000 subscribers ain't that far away, especially for 3 months. So I'm upping it a little bit. If we hit 6,500 by then, we'll give away 2 boxes. If we can hit, I don't know, 6,800. I said 7 in the last video. Let's say 6,800. We'll do a full case giveaway. So make sure you share with your friends. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. All that good stuff. But we're here for the Reign of Jafar meta. Now we're going to kind of come at you, mix in some like meta style videos as well as some deck profile types. Once we get more results and more tops, more big tournaments, I'll do the ones where I take those tops and break down the decks they play, the common ratios, and the standard lists that you could expect to see in an event. But for right now, it's more speculation, hypotheticals, ideas, thought process, stuff like that. So I'm going to bring to you guys a bunch of tech cards, and then we'll go into my deck list for that deck. And today we're going to start out with none other than Mushu. It's Mushu madness. He's a dragon, not a lizard. He doesn't do that tongue thing, guys. Come on. One of the only actual good live action remakes, if you ask me. But anyway, so some tech cards you may consider. We're going to go through characters first. In the 1-drop spot, Mickey Mouse is a decent option, actually, because he has 2 willpower and resist 1, meaning a lot of time you can just start pinging some damage on your opponent, and he just sticks around a little bit. 1-drop spots are kind of weak in the deck. I'll go over the ones that I actually chose for my list. All these tech cards are not actually in my list. We'll talk about the ones in the list at that point. I figured it was kind of redundant to have both. Some of the new cards like the Sword of Shan Yu, personally not a fan. I don't want to exert a character to ready a different character. Like, it just feels a little redundant at that point. Some 2-drop cards maybe you want to consider, though, would be Gaston, because he's a 4/2 body, which just means he can take out things like Daisy Duck right away or many other problematic characters. Just get good trade value. And if they only have 1 willpower, he just 2-for-1s, and that's just really good. When you're challenging as well, Lumiere, giving all your characters +1 strength. Obviously, that's going to be pretty strong. I don't have the 5-drop one in here, I did realize. But if you want to play the Queen shift line, the shift line for Queen enables a draw every time you challenge a card with the 5-cost shift to Queen of Hearts. If you're going to do that, there are a couple options. You have the 2-drop Rush 2/2 Queen, which I do like because Rush is obviously an incredibly strong aspect of the game because your opponent can't necessarily plan for it unless they get to see your hand and peep what you have going for you. But I actually like the Queen of Hearts losing her temper. She's a 1/4, and when she gets damaged, she gets +3. So you can swing into something, get a damage on it, use her to finish something off. Works really well in tandem. Since we're not playing Amethyst here, you don't have Crab to boost her. But there are actually some other cards that we'll get to that you could use to boost her. But once she gets damaged, she becomes a 4/4, and then she can go ahead and swing through and do some pretty good damage for you. Another one is the Coachman, one of the new cards. First new card we're going to talk about from set 8. So he's a 2/2, and while 2 or more characters are exerted, this character gets +2 strength and evasive. To me, it just felt a little bit too slow, and I think that there's just better options, but it's not a terrible option. He can become a 4/2, and getting the evasive is nice. If I'm going for that route, though, like Gaston, I know he is reckless and can't quest, but he's just always a 4/2. So I'm not huge on Coachman. I've seen it in a few other people's lists, so I did want to mention that it is an option. Doc, I've not been a fan of this card, and we got an incredible replacement. You guys already know what it is. It was in the thumbnail. Desperate Plan is so strong for this deck. So obviously, what is the idea of the deck? We have Mushu. That's where we're piggybacking everything around. Not necessarily, but it kind of feels like it. So during your turn, when your opponent's challenged, they get resist 2, and if they banish a character, you get 2 lore for it. So it enables you to win the game through challenging. We got some other new Mushu cards in that, but really Mushu is a huge key point in this deck. And Desperate Plan, if you have less than 3 cards, drawing up to 3 or drawing 2-3 cards in your hand, or if you have more than 3, being able to discard as many as you want and then draw that many cards, is so strong because this deck lacked the draw. It ran out of hand size. Now you have a card that you can just top deck, slap down, draw 3 cards. It's this deck. That's a huge boost for this deck. It really needed that, and I'm super excited for it and where we're going to be going with it and where things will take us to. So Otherwise, Helga Sinclair, she's a challenger +3 and gains evasive on your turn, so she becomes a 3/4. I like this over Coachman as well. Just personally, I guess I like it a little less restrictive on it. Fei Zhao, a 2/3, but whenever your character's challenges another character, if it's the second challenge this turn, you gain 3 lore. Keep in mind, if you're going to like challenge with something, slap him down, and then challenge, that's when you gain the lore. Don't challenge with 2 things, slap him down, and think you get the 3 lore. He has to be there to see the second challenge of the turn. They do stack if you have multiple Fei Zhaos out as well, but it's only that second challenge. It's not like, the second challenge he sees. Lawrence is a nice option because when he's undamaged, he's a 4/4 body, which means you can swing into stuff. You can take stuff out that way. Otherwise, too, it's a 2 quester on 3. So then you can go like Smee on 2, Lawrence on 3, and start questing and pressing your opponent that way. Because it's like, well, what if my opponent just doesn't turn sideways? And we got some answers for that. But Lawrence is one of those answers where you can start questing for 2 and have this body where they have to answer it. Otherwise, they're going to start falling behind when you're just getting multiple questing options like that. Super Goof, really strong, just another card that gets rush and that lore instantly when you challenge. Unfortunately, he was the final card I cut out of my deck, but I think Super Goof's still incredibly strong. He was at one point kind of the backbone, whereas now we're more Mushu madness. It used to be like Goofy Super Squad back in like set 4. I think it's still a strong card, though, something that you should definitely test and consider, and maybe we'll see where the format goes. Raya is actually really nice. Like, you get her down, and you can challenge with something, then you ink a card, and then you get to ready one of your other characters, and you can challenge something again. She just allows you to repeatedly use some of your characters, and it works out really nice. Gantu, a great option for closing out games that forces an answer. Again, just having a alternate win condition other than just challenging. You can't expect to challenge and win all the time. You're going to have to find ways to challenge your opponent when they're ready. You're going to have to find ways to push them, force them to turn sideways, things like that. The new legendary Namari also, when you play this character and at the start of your turn, you get to draw a card and discard a card. So she really just helps you cycle through your deck, get to the cards you want, filter out your hand, and in addition to that, each card in your discard gets her an extra strength. So she's a 2 questing body that very easily is like a 5/5 or more strength. Like, she is just an absolute powerhouse. I am still strongly considering putting her in the deck, even at like a 2 of. The Robin Hood playline is something you might consider. Obviously, it challenges and gets you the lore. Can draw when he's challenged and killed, or when he dies in a challenge. It could be on your turn as well. Mulan Elite Archer, the splash damage is incredibly strong. Personally, I think you should play either Imperial Bow or Maui's Fishhook if you're playing her, just because if you don't hit that shift line, then you can still get a really good splash damage effect with her. Scar is really nice because he just comes down, clears the board, and if you have Mushu out, it's just like, Scar, challenge, 2 lore, ready, Scar, challenge, 2 lore, ready, Scar, challenge, 2 lore, ready, and you just get 6 lore incredibly quick and just board wipe them. He's incredibly strong. I really do like Scar in the deck. It's a 7 cost uninkable card and a little too precise on what it requires to really go off. Some actions. We're challenging a lot, so you don't necessarily need a lot of the action removal. But Brawl is obviously a fantastic card. Light Diffuse is an interesting new one as well. Deal 1 damage to a chosen character for each exerted character you have in play. So challenge with a bunch of your characters and slap that down and take out their other big threat. Works out pretty nicely. We have I'm Still Here. So this song gives you resist 2 and you get to draw a card. So you draw a card, you can get rid of vanished characters too, because you just choose their character, give it resist 2, and after the card resolves, you draw your card. Then their vanished character goes and disappears. It goes bye-bye. Let the Storm Rage on, deal 2 damage, draw a card. It's just another way to draw. Grab your sword. Depending on how aggressive the format goes, maybe this is an option. Yes, you want to challenge and establish the board presence, all that already, but sometimes that blanket 2 damage across the board is really strong, especially in like a Prince John style discard meta. We might see Grab Your Sword really get an uptick in play. And then another song, a new one, Nothing We Won't Do. So essentially, if you have a bunch of characters on your board, you can all sing it together, and then you ready all your characters that just sang it. For the rest of the turn, they take no damage from challenges. That's pretty strong, and they can't quest. That's fine. You're not questing with them. You're challenging with them. So you use up to your 8 or however, and then if you have more characters, you can challenge, quest, do your stuff like that, and then use your 8, sing this, everyone gets ready, then you challenge in your opponent's board that way and just take them out. This card I think is really, really strong. I do want to test with it more, and there's a pretty decent chance it's like a 1 to 2 of tech card. I think this card is just really, really cool and actually really underrated. I haven't seen many people talk about it, but I think it's really strong. Medallion weights, just a little draw engine, +2 strength as well. Imperial Bow, most of your characters that matter are heroes, not all of them though, so keep that in mind. Getting Challenger +2 and Evasive, really nice. Otherwise, Maui's Fishhook, you can get Evasive or Challenger +3, but it doesn't need to be a hero. Another card that forces your opponent to turn sideways is RLS Legacy. I played this at Set Championships, and it was really, really nice. It felt really strong. And also being able to move here and get Evasive, and then it only costs 1 more to move another character there. It was a way to really just deal with your opponent's evasive threats that way. I think it's strong. I think it forces your opponent to do something. They got to start turning sideways. It's just uninkable, and it was another card that I wish I had room for it, but I want to try out a lot of these other new cards. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those new cards while we're at it. So like I said, we're a dragon, not a lizard. Get it through your heads, guys. So on turn 1, we got Captain Hook, the Forceful Duelist. He's obviously a Challenger +2, and he's a captain for your Smee. We're really high in our 3-cost cards, otherwise pretty low stagnant around the board. Uninkable count sitting at 11, and the deck's actually really budget, sitting at just $151. Get a little Malibu and some pineapple juice if you know, you know. Mulan, though, as another 1-drop. Even if you're not playing the shift line, I think Mulan's just a good 1-drop. She's a 2/1, and she gets to help cycle through your deck, drawing a card, discarding card. I like what she offers. Flynn Rider. I like Flynn a lot. I took him out for Set Championships, kind of missed him, wish I kind of had him. But at the end of the day, he forces an answer, and a lot of steel decks are playing an answer. And it's like, well, they're just going to go and get rid of him. That's actually fine, because he's one of the weakest threats in your deck, but he still forces an answer. Like, it's not one of your power cards. It's not one of your, he's more like your plan C win condition. You get him on board, then you get your stronger characters down who just start challenging. But because you have stronger characters, you're also getting 3 lore every turn, and he just really adds and ramps that up for you. Or versus like slow decks, he can really help you out and put in a lot of work. But I think Flynn offers a nice utility, and he forces that answer. Like I said, if they have the answer, they have the answer. And if they use it on Flynn, that's okay, because he's probably one of the worst feel bad, I don't want to do this, but I have to do Storm on Flynn type cards in this specific deck. So I do like Flynn Rider. I've seen Calhoun kind of working her way out of lists. I don't agree with it. I put her down to 2, just keeping that uninkable count, at 11. That's kind of the high end of where I wanted to go with this style deck. I still like Calhoun a lot. I think Calhoun's insanely strong still. So I put her in there at 2 of. At first I'm like 4. Like, let's try 3, and then other cards. I'm like, okay, we can take another Calhoun out. We're still playing 12 2-drops. For Smee, that's just, he's another 2 quester. He's a 3/3. That's going to be pretty standard in your list that you see. Li Shang is our first one, where this card helps versus those Prince John style decks, because he can challenge readied characters. He's a 2/3, and when he has damage, he becomes a +2. So that means he has 4/3. It's not a challenger. He always has it. So he's a 4/3, really allowing you to 2-for-1 a lot of your opponents. But he can challenge readied characters, so that's just really strong. 3-drop, you have your fast talking dragon. You can exert it and give rush to a character. So once you get him on board, every character you start playing, you can just exert him, give them rush, give them rush, give them rush, and just start really going after your opponent and not making them feel safe at all. It came down to Sisu or Lawrence. Which one did I want? They both have 4 willpower. They both quest for 1. But we're in a pretty heavy steel meta, so putting a little bit of damage on Lawrence is not hard at all, and then it just becomes a quester at that point, whereas Sisu goes off their hand size. So the only way for her to be strictly a quester would be for them to not have a hand, and if they don't have a hand, I'm okay with that. So we went with Sisu over Lawrence for that reason. Pete rounding out her 3-drops, obviously just slowing down those actions. Also considered like even 3 Pete, 1 Gantu. Since we're not playing much for actions, it's not like a huge hindrance. Another thing that we're just going to try and test a bit. The next one is another new card, and that's Mulan charging ahead, the super rare out of set 8, Reign of Jafar. She's a 3/3 4-cost card, so kind of like Li Shang. she can also challenge readied characters. However, 3/3 means if they're at the Cove, she can still take out a Prince John. In addition, she gets evasive on your turn, so she can take out a Diablo. Having Reckless and not being able to quest isn't really an issue either. So we're going 2 Li Shang, 3 Mulans, and we're just going to charge ahead into our opponent's readied board. Stitch, Alien Troublemaker. This card is so good. I like it way more than Jafar Dreadnought. It doesn't have the shift line, but you weren't playing any little Jafars anyway, so it's not like you were hitting the shift. So instead of when you banish a character, draw a card, you get to draw a card and gain a lore. Otherwise, it's the same thing. It's a 4-cost inkable. It's a 3/4 quest for 1, but when he banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card and gain a lore. I think it's just another really strong card for this deck. So like, we got Mushu in the new set, you got Mulan, you got Stitch, lots of new tools in the new set that I think help push this deck a little bit further. Maui, it's a challenge deck, guys. Maui. Mushu, like I said, we're playing the Mushus. We showed them a little bit earlier. We talked about it. Mushu's kind of one of the focal points of the deck. Beast Tragic Hero, and they're at 2. I don't want too many high cost cards, but he's a really nice draw engine card that, again, he forces an answer. If they don't have an answer, you generate so much advantage, and especially at this point in the game, it's probably when your hand size is running low, and against discard, it's nice getting the extra cards so you can ink and play cards. It just really helps facilitate you into being able to play the game. So I do like Beast Tragic Hero in there as a 2 of. Mushu, your worst nightmare. He's a shift 4, 4/6, 2 quester, and whenever you play a character, they gain rush, relentless, reckless, and evasive. This card is actually really strong, but it's a shift 4. It's kind of late in the play line. It's afterwards, so it's more that mid-late game card. I didn't want to put too many in there because I don't think this is the card you piggyback the deck off of. It's nice when you have the right cards, the right setup, and it works. So I think at 2 is kind of ideal. I don't think we're going to see him in there at more, and honestly, he's strong, but until we get like a 1 or a 2 drop Mushu, I think he's held back a little bit just in that regard. I mean, you have Mushu on 3, shift on 4, play other Mushu on 5, I guess, and he would actually have all like the whole whammy, the shift, the reckless, the evasive, all of that. And he would also then get the resist too, because it's not other characters. I like Mulan, Imperial General. We're just throwing her in there as a 1-off. She's a 5/6, shift 5, evasive, 2 quester, and whenever this character challenges another character, your other characters can challenge readied characters. So we're going after those readied characters pretty hard. One Last Hope, I believe, is another action where your hero can challenge readied characters. It's not in the tech list. If you want to play that card, I understand. I think there's better options now, but that is another option if you want. I did realize it's not in the tech spot. Like I said, Desperate Plan. If you have no cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards. Otherwise, choose and discard any number of cards. We already talked about how incredibly strong this card is, and Strength of the Raging Fire, rounding it out. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take care.